And Luca, it's funny you mentioned the bull run because right now, as we're talking, we're in the opposite of a bull run. At least
Yes.
the last few minutes. A lot of people, like I'm one of those people that's responsible for bringing a lot of my friends and family into Bitcoin, into crypto. So
Okay.
whenever any change in price happens, especially the ones going down, they don't call me when it's going up. They don't call me every day to say, oh, it's up 500, oh, it's up. But the
Yeah, yeah.
moment it goes down $100, oh, what's happening? Do we sell? What happened? Explain. And I say,
Yeah.
guys, there's no explanation. I cannot rationalize this. Like today, somebody texted me, they're like, oh, it's Libra, something with Facebook, Libra. I saw this article.
All right.
Do you think it's connected to anything, this recent drop?
No, I mean, the only is connected to nothing. I mean, maybe some manipulation, but there's no correlation between news and price. This has been clear for the last year. I mean, it was obvious. And in the low market, in the bear market, you see a lot of activity going on actually behind the scenes. A lot is being built, right? And the
Yeah.
price doesn't reflect that. So the way I see it is like every day people are working and they're building value, but the value is not liberated, and then it all goes in one way. But still, there's no real correlation. I mean, it's just psychology and emotion. So
Yeah. Do you think it's more maybe TA, like trade indicators that people are looking at, certain like charting or?
I think this is much more to do with that, yes, and manipulation. You can easily manipulate even Bitcoin price. I mean, relatively easily. So I would say it doesn't matter. I mean, if you're not in trading and you're in building something, it really matters much less. Actually, I've been enjoying the the bear market for a long time because you can focus. The moment Bitcoin or any other crypto starts, shooting up, people get distracted.
Yeah.
And then the whole conversation goes on. Oh, this coin went double. This coin went 10x. And then, yeah, guys, we are building stuff, and you lose everybody for a while. It's like a collective, collective amnesia, and then everything stops building. And then, yeah, okay, let's wait for the next crash. But after the crash, people are deceived. So I've been enjoying this, last year and a half, where price was not an issue and we're just building. So
So when
I'm
did
actually a
you
bit
start?
worried about bull runs. I started this idea. I started in June 2017 when I first heard about Ethereum. I had been in Bitcoin since November 2013, before the Chinese bubble. But then I heard about Ethereum much later. And when I heard about Ethereum and DAOs, so the possibility to build decentralized organizations, I immediately had the idea of like a decentralized Airbnb, let's say, because this is what I do. That's my market. So it's more than 2 years now. Yeah. So we've been through the bull run and the crash, and then we've been through all this.
And now it's interesting. You mentioned that when you heard about Ethereum, so you never had to go through this kind of chain selection process. It was always Ethereum is what we're building on.
Not really. Look, the thing is, we are the last layer. Well, what we're doing with trips is the last layer is the booking portal, right? We are not even, and we are using the code and the software which is built right now by Origin Protocol, which is a startup in California, and they're building on Ethereum.
Is
If one
Origin
day they,
OX, is that their
no, it's OGN, the
OGN?
token, right? But it's not on the market yet.
It's
They,
not on the
they're
market. And you're
no,
working with
they're
OGN. Okay.
distributing it, but when you get it, it's still stuck in your wallet, and then in the future, it's going to be on the market. And so if they decide tomorrow morning that Ethereum is not the best chain, they're going to change. But we are the next level, not in the sense that we're better. We're just the
Yeah, you're
front end
on
level.
top of it. I know.
Yeah, we go on top.
And so OGN is like a CMS for blockchain for DApps. What exactly is OGN?
They started as protocols for the sharing economy, and their idea was to build a JavaScript library mostly, which everybody could use to build their own dApps. But they went a step farther and they started building marketplaces creators. So if you go in Origin protocol today, you can launch a marketplace in minutes without coding. It's a bit like doing a WordPress website, right? Well, actually, not even that. It's like doing a Wix website, or like launching something without code.
Yeah.
Just get in, create your account, which is basically an address. I'm sorry, phone. I forgot to turn it off. Give me a second.
No problem, dude. So Origin, that's interesting. Gotta look more into Origin. I wonder who else is built on top of Origin. I wonder who else.
Really sorry, you're gonna cut that?
No, I don't edit anything, dude. I wonder though. You mentioned Origin. I mean, is this popular? Like, is there something that like I would know that's built on top of it or using it?
Not yet. They're not at that stage yet. So the marketplace creator is a few months old.
But like, how'd you find it? I mean, like, did you do intense research? Did you meet these guys?
Yes.
At conference?
Yes. Before deciding to go with them, sorry, I'm gonna just turn off completely the phone, and then we're done. There you are. Sorry about that. So, the process in choosing who to build on top of was pretty long. It took us 4 months to write the white paper. Okay, because that's what we can do actually is envision an alternative to Airbnb or Booking.com. And during this process, we were looking at what was on the market in the sense of projects, and we were looking for something really open source. So we wouldn't be locked in with any of these companies, and whatever we would build could be reused by others. So because we believe that one of the main strengths of any thing on the blockchain is when it's really open, right? And they were the most open of all of them, so their code is completely open source. And on the other main factor, these are the guys who build the internet as we know it. So the quality of engineering is unmatched. Just to give you an example, that was from a couple of days ago. There was an interview with the founder of YouTube, which I don't remember the name, and he was talking about the Origin team. So many people, you work with many of these guys who are now building.
Yeah, I saw you posted that on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Right, there you are. So this is these are the engineers who build the internet as we know it.
And on the comparison with Origin, like, is there another company in that space that I would know of, or a competitor?
There are a few companies which focus more on the hotel space, and there will be LockTrip, for instance.
No, not a competitor of trips, of Origin.
Yeah, of Origin. Somebody doing, well, in a way, because they're also building a platform which you can use to build your own Dapp. So LockTrip is one of them.
Okay. I would never have heard of them though.
Yeah, well, they did an ICO. They are from Sofia. They are also pretty good. They're building their own blockchain. So not Ethereum or other things. It's just their own blockchain.
Okay.
Who else? No, I mean, not really. Not specifically in the sharing economy for us.
So interesting. This is specifically for Dapp builders of the sharing economy space.
Yeah. So if you want to do your decentralized Uber or decentralized eBay, they're building that kind of software.
Interesting. And that's why I like these talks, man. I learn stuff,
Right.
I learn stuff. Other people learn stuff. Because you're also the first person I've talked to that's in the Dapp area. We've spoken to people, at the public chain level. My last interview was with Bloxroot, who's at the zero layer. They're building a networking solution for faster bandwidth. So that this is interesting. In the Dapp building world, what other tools do you think have really helped or are very central to your development? I mean, it sounds like OGN's extremely core to what you're doing.
It is. But what we're missing and what we are now looking into is DAO software, because we are a community. So the whole idea was like, okay, let's build a community. That's the differentiator. Code is not going to be a differentiator. Anybody can get in and in 5 minutes have the same Dapp we have, because it's open source, right? So we're not going to compete with the others on that. Let's build a strong community. So for the last year and a half, the whole work was to educate people in this space of Airbnb hosts, to keep it simple, or property managers, and tell them about blockchain. They knew nothing about it. Teach them, tell them what the opportunities are, and try to build a community. And now we have a community, and but it is a community with a benevolent dictator, which is me, right? So everything goes through me. For instance, every month we, for people who are cooperating, we can say volunteering, they get our own token, which is called TRIPS. It's an ERC20. And I decide how much I give, which is, of course, a very hard decision. It's wrong for sure. I'm giving too much, I'm giving too little. And every decision after all the discussions is taken by me, right? So yeah, I'm open. I talk to everybody. I try to synthesize, all the different point of views. So it is really efficient at this scale because we are small. But I'm a dictator. So you know what dictators do? They get crazy. They get drunk with power after a while. The only reason I'm not drunk with power is that I don't have power because it's a small project yet, right? So imagine if we raise a lot of money. I can't vouch for myself. I don't know what kind of effect money is going to have on my psychology. So it is and that's another point. We need to decentralize because I could get crazy. I'm simply oversimplifying, of course, right? Or we may be attacked. At a certain point, we say anything which is decentralized, it is not also controllable.
If I'm a user, because I've seen some of your videos. By the way, you are one of the hardest working guys I know in the industry. So you're doing what you need to do, man. You gotta grind. Right. So I've seen some of your videos. I saw, your explanation for a flat architecture. I see that you're, recently doing stuff about DAOs. You had one with Aragorn, and there was another one that we were looking at. The
economy guys from Sofia too, right? Yes. Yeah.
So what you're saying though about the DAOs, I've been thinking about a lot too. And if you really zoom out and you're asking people that are building something of a network effect, hey, which of the two are you going to choose? One where the money is completely in my control or in the organization's control, or one that's in the control of software and a smart contract? Logically, people should choose the one where, it's going to be, at the same time, there's not a great history with DAOs and smart contracts so far on the bug side. But I agree that from an altruism and from a philosophy, you're always going to want to work with the organization that's using a DAO.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's one. My dream actually is to have a way for the organization to raise money, which doesn't go through my hands in any way. So it goes straight to the people who are actually using it to do marketing or development or whatever. Right. It's pretty early for that, but it's a good time to start. There's a lot of development in the DAO software. We're testing out Colony now. We will test Aragorn. We will play with DAOstack. There's more and more, right? So that's a very exciting part, and that will make us not easy to be attacked because again, we don't know what's going to happen. Maybe government's going to say, well, you can't do DAOs because there's tokens involved. They go to the company we opened in Estonia and they shut the company down. It's fine if they shut the company down or they cripple it, but as long as the platform can go ahead. What we want to build here is a platform. We don't care about the company. The company is just something we need now to make it start, right? And so we're exploring this. I am aware we are still a few years away before this is usable. And yeah, you were saying people prefer to go through, decentralized. Well, maybe people in the crypto space, but the people we talk to who have heard about Bitcoin maybe 6 months ago and they still think it's just a payment method, they are more comfortable with a centralized approach. So they are happy that I'm there. a few months back, I said, guys, let's push on decentralization. And everybody went like, no, 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 we trust you. We want you to take the decisions. And so they are not kind of ready for that. Plus the software is not ready. It's a long-term road to the decentralization.
Yeah, I can agree that you also have the problem that everything is slower with decentralization on the decision making. Because yeah, you know, if one person makes a decision, you go. Whereas, you know, first you have to wait for everybody to get aligned on giving their vote. Then, you know, everybody has to be educated to give their opinions. And then if there's, you know, a tie, what do we do now? And it's definitely not the fastest way to grow. So I agree with that. And, you know, one of the things I try to always counter when I'm talking to people is be okay with having centralized elements. And then you can, you know, just show the roadmap to decentralization. I think that is powerful enough to show that, like, look, we've thought about how we're going to get there, and we want to get there. There's a lot of projects that have centralized ownership, or you know, if you look at the GitHubs, most of the commits come from, like, you know, one centralized team. That's fine as long as there's a roadmap towards decentralization. And on the other hand, you've got people who say, oh no, you know, cryptocurrencies don't need to be decentralized. This can be a safe store of value for everyone to use, even if it's completely centralized. That's where I strongly disagree. You know, I don't think that, like you, I haven't asked you this. I'll ask you. Do you think the TRIPS token competes with Bitcoin?
No. Bitcoin is a layer of trust, and a lot of stuff will be built on top of it, which requires trust. The TRIPS token right now, it's going to go through several phases. Right now is what represents ownership on the platform. So if you have the TRIPS tokens, you kind of own the platform. That's going to give you later on governance rights, so voting rights. So no, not at all.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, that's a real answer. You have no idea how often, like,
no, you don't know. Look, I remember you telling me in Athens when we met, you don't need a token, right? And then a few weeks later, I was in Tel Aviv, and I was thinking about what you said, right? And then a few weeks later in Tel Aviv, a professor of economics, Zafrir, tells me you need 2 tokens, one for the ownership and one for payments. And the one for payments needs to be stable, right? And then, oh my God, you see, you got 2 different ideas here, and who knows? I mean, who knows? The worst thing we can do is to say, no, I decided that it's like this, and now I'm not going to change my mind. You need to be flexible about these things.
I totally agree on the flexibility, and I like that. You know, you're taking in multiple opinions on this. Also, you know, again, on that Bitcoin thing, even if you were to make this a payments token primarily, or make 2 tokens, you would never insinuate that people should put their life savings in the TRIPS token.
No, we don't even sell it. You can only earn it. So
right. But you know, so I recently came out with a video against Metal, which is this. It's a token connected to this app where you can send payments in crypto, and you can earn Metal by making deposits into the app. App's beautiful. It's a good app. I was reading, you know, one of the newest investors was saying, yeah, we're making a better Bitcoin. I'm like, come on, dude, why are you trying to go and do that to people? Like, you know, and like, it pumped like 20%, you know, and you know, CNBC showed it, and
all right, okay.
That's where I get upset, you know, where it's because there's still so many people on the sidelines, and those people are grappling with one of the hardest things I like to talk about, which is, how can I buy something at that price when I can, you know, maybe I can be smart and buy the new Bitcoin, the next Bitcoin. Remember, we met at, you know, Andreas.
Yeah, that's what Andreas talked about. Yes.
Yeah, the next Bitcoin is Bitcoin. And so many people, they don't understand some of the nitty gritty, and they're like, "Oh, look at this one; it's only $1. Maybe it will go to 10,000." And I think it's
better than that.
Yeah, I think it's our duty, though, as people who have been in the industry, at the very least, to constantly be acting as this, you know, megaphone warning to anybody coming into the gates, coming towards the crypto gates, that look, just if you're going to come here, focus on this area, on this lane. Come in from the safe landing, you know, like the guy on the landing, you know, at the airport. Come here on the Bitcoin runway. Stay away from these, you know, little other ones.
What I do, I tell everybody, you know, just go straight to Andreas. Listen to his videos. This is the safest thing you can do in this space. Everything else, I mean, almost everything else is noise or dangerous, you know, because first of all, you get into this space because you want to make easy money fast. So your brain is wired to people who say, oh, this is the next Bitcoin, right? You're looking for that. And then the other guy who tells you, well, the next Bitcoin is Bitcoin and it's too late for you. Yeah, you don't want to listen to that. But I find Andreas' work really important because it gives me a simple way to tell them, just listen to Andreas first and then go and do your research. But get the basics straight. And the basics are never about the price. Okay, if you start into this space looking at the price, you're going to get hurt because there's so many people trying to get your money, right? So what we're doing in trips is, if you want to earn trips, you work for it. And by working for it, you could actually waste a lot of your time, but you're going to learn something. So you're going to get something for sure in return, which is knowledge. Okay, that's the trade-off. You give your time, we give you knowledge. And these tokens, who knows, maybe one day going to be worth something. We're never going to say they are going to be worth something. I always say this is monopoly money. This is fake money. Don't do this for trips. Do this for the knowledge, right? Or because you like to be part of a community and do something. But you're going to bring home knowledge. That's guaranteed. This is the best investment you can have, right? We're guaranteeing a return on your investment in trips, 100%, but in knowledge, not in money.
Look, I can get behind that. So I think there's three topics, you know, I want to kind of go over before we call it a day. The first is on this trips, this concept about working to give knowledge. What can a viewer do right now to get involved, to earn some trips, and to, you know, gain some knowledge?
The easiest way for the English speaking world is just to contact me again, because we have a Trello board, but it's in Italian for the moment. So the easiest way is to come to me and say, okay, I got this time and I know how to do these things, and I'm going to propose you some tasks.
That's awesome. One-on-one with the CEO. You can't get more right than that.
Yeah, maybe it's the best way. We try to decentralize this at the beginning, like go on Trello and pick up a task, but people got lost, so they wouldn't go through. And I found out a quick call would like, okay, now today we need that. Like today, for instance, we are doing partnerships. Why don't you look for potential partners? And you start looking for them. That's it. So it's the easiest way is this. Right?
Okay, so we'll put your contact information, or you'll tell me where, you know, we'll put that as a link underneath.
Oh, you know, the website has an email contact form, and that's it, right?
Okay, so we'll put that there. Now, on Andreas, who, you know, we both obviously think is awesome. You know, we met at one of his meetups. After that meetup, I became a patron. I wasn't a patron before that. What compelled you to become a patron?
I wanted to meet him first because, well, before that, we had our own Patreon page. So we were collecting money from the community. So I knew Patreon. And then he came to Sofia, and there was this happy hour. Remember, I invited you to the happy hour in Athens, so you couldn't come. And I said, okay, to meet him, I'm gonna be a patron. So I started to be a patron with the money from the community. And then I came to Athens again because I wanted to meet him again. So I met him again. And after that, we decided to raise the monthly. I talked to the community and I said, okay, guys, we give him $10. Why don't we give more? And everybody said some values, and we settled for, I think, 25. So that's what compelled me, just to meet him, right? And then because what we're doing as a community depends a lot on the infrastructure, which is working on, like he's working on the cultural side, on the education side, but is a very important part of the whole ecosystem. And again, as I was telling you, it gives us a solution to a problem, which is I've heard about crypto. Where shall I look into, right? And that solution is just look at Andreas and that's it. So it gives a solution to a problem.
I know, and I think we need more of those, right? Like a lot of people, whenever they're talking to me, they're like, "Okay, who's Satoshi?" Why? Because it's as if they cannot get into Bitcoin unless they know exactly who made Bitcoin, right?
That's true.
I was proposing that, like, why don't we all just agree to say it's like Hal Finney or something? Like, just let's give an answer. We all agree as a community. Maybe it's not Hal Finney, but there should be some sort of answer. That way we can move along, move past this common. People get stuck on weird things.
Look, the question with Satoshi, we've been wired to authority for, I don't know, 200,000 years. And
more than just authority, right? Because even like if you talk about the ancient Romans and the Greeks, they had to rationalize everything. It's like, oh, why is it lightning? Oh, Zeus is mad.
Right.
Like, you had to connect everything to something.
Look, an answer I gave when I don't want just to send it to our video is like, who invented tiramisu, right? We don't know. Actually, it's maybe somewhere in Treviso in Italy, somewhere in another region. Doesn't matter, right? You're enjoying it. Somebody invented it and it's just open. So do you care who invented the tiramisu? No, you just eat it. That's kind of open source recipe, right? So kind of the same, because they are still thinking that unless you know who invented Bitcoin, you don't know who controls it. That's where it's hard to explain that nobody controls it. But you understand that nobody controls tiramisu, right?
Yes, I do.
But you don't understand.
I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
I'm going to try the tiramisu. First of all, one, now I want to eat some tiramisu. And two, I think that might work. I'm going to try that out and see how people react. Okay, so for the final wrap up, and this has been great. I didn't realize that you gave so many good names about Dapp tools, right? Like for somebody looking to build a Dapp, I think that's what's come across clearly is this is now a new world where you don't need to be a developer. A lot of this is being built, like Wix, the Wix analogy, the WordPress analogy you brought up. So what tools do you think are lacking right now that we need to ask the dev community to kind of focus on or do a better job with to make it easier for Dapp builders like yourself?
I think that no coding tools, like if you look at Origin, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You get in and you launch an instance of a marketplace in minutes. Okay, that's what we need, because if my expertise has been for 20 years into the, let's say, Airbnb space, right? So all I know is about booking portals, and I was involved into the code of building an alternative to Airbnb, actually before Airbnb. So I wouldn't call it an alternative, and all my focus had to go on the code, and I couldn't focus anymore on the rest. So this space will be successful and everybody can concentrate on what they know best, right? So let me concentrate on the last layer and let the right people concentrate on the other layers. So you got the internet, blockchain, let's say Ethereum or Bitcoin, Ethereum Classic, whatever. And on top you have protocols. Then you have marketplace creators like Dapp creators. And then people can use these Dapp creators. That's what we need. So probably Dapp creators, and maybe a couple of names more will be Mainframe, I think, to do something like that, or Eternity also. They have their own ecosystem for that. But I don't know if we need to push this. This is a natural development. Like it just gets more and more detached from the technology. Yeah, we're gonna get there. There's gonna be many solutions like that.
And for me, this is like in my opinion, it's one of those things where it's a feedback loop too. There's a lot of tools out there that people don't know about. I mean, you can be deep in this industry and not realize that there's this other thing over here because there's just so much noise. And because there's so much noise, because blockchain, I guess, unfortunately got connected to money immediately, has to go through this kind of scam cloud where, you know, the first, like, I feel like in every industry, you kind of have to build up a skill to get really good at it. And in this one, it's this, you need to be able to really identify who you're talking to, what their motivations are fast. And, you know, I was fortunate in my journey to go through, you know, the right formula to get me through pretty fast. Whereas other people, you know, they got burned, you know, and then they never want to be in this again. Like, imagine you got Bitcoin so early on and you were at, you know, Mount Gox, and then like you got Goxed. Like, that could have just turned you off of the space forever.
Yeah, but some stayed and they went on. So yeah, I don't know if you can avoid this. People are gonna get hurt, and that's part of the learning process. Money is interconnected with blockchain 100%. If you remove crypto from blockchains, you're removing, yes, these bad actors, and you're removing the incentive process. The way I see it is like, we've been building our society, our civilization, based on profit for the last decades. Profit is the best, has been until today, the best way to keep everything smooth and working, right?
Yeah.
But profit has its bad parts too. And you may see, you know, when profit makes, like, you know, big pharma had people die or pay 50 times more the medicine in the US rather than in Europe. You see how profit can go wrong. Big oil, tobacco, whatever. So profit is the best way so far. Maybe we found a better way, which is kind of distributed profit through crypto. So we're still working for money. I'm working for money, you're working for money. But I'm not going to be the only one getting rich if Trips works. Everybody was with me at the beginning, and not only the first 10 people, maybe the first 10,000 people will get, I wouldn't say like rich is relative term, of course, but profit is distributed. So we're not working for an ideology. It's not a socialist thing, because the ideology works for a while until you're excited, and then you see things don't work in. And we've seen what happened with economies, right? While distributed profit is a new way. Is it better? It's not better because it's new. It's like the first iteration. It's going to go through many mistakes, but it has the potential to become an alternative to centralized profit systems. So it's really exciting. It's like we are redefining corporations in a way, right?
Totally, man. And
so very exciting.
And we need you know, the kind of blood and energy that you bring to the industry. We need more Lucas around, who are not only working to build new things, but also working to educate. My man, it was such a pleasure to meet you in Greece. I didn't know that, you know, a few months later we would be interviewing, and hopefully we can do more like them.
Hopefully. Thank you so much, Dan. It was a pleasure.
Likewise, brother. Take it easy. Have a good one, man.
Bye. Bye-bye.